Hello! Hello! Hopefully it's all working. This is the fun part. The fun part's when I get to stand here and talk about stuff. It's stressful getting it all set up, and like, I'm just sure I'm gonna forget to turn something on, and it's gonna mess everything up. But hopefully it's okay. and hopefully you had a great week. Thank you so much for stopping by, everyone. Fennec, hello. Oh, we got the party popper down there. I can see the emojis. Thank you so much. Again, I have a screen down here so I can see some of your messages. We got Matt saying, is it 1 hour earlier this Saturday? It was supposed to be at 8 last Saturday. But we had technical difficulties last Saturday, so the time is supposed to be 8 p.m. Eastern to 10 p.m. Let me know if the music is too loud. It's Pokemon music because we're talking about Pokemon pretty much all night tonight. So hopefully that is fun. But yeah, Rattle not showing up. So again, I told the story. I actually had to like revert the sound drivers on my computer to a previous version, and that stopped the rattling. So, you know, the myth of updates are always good has been debunked because that one was clearly messing things up. Music is subtle but good. I can bump it up one more. Again, it's hard for me to tell. It's at like a really low percent right now. So if I do like maybe just a little bit more. How's that? Maybe that's pretty good. Hi, Big Phil. Happy Catter Day. We're gonna be talking about cats today. Hope everyone had a good Catter Day. Chance, it came out well. But you're quite tired. What did Chance do? You just got done putting up a baker's rack? Well, I hope that baker's rack holds all your baking goods for all eternity. And this is like, this isn't my curated playlist of Pokemon music, because the other music that we've listened to was like my curated, like comfy music. This is just relaxing Pokemon music, stolen right from YouTube, and I'm assuming they stole it from someone else. So it's the circle of life here. Sound is good, Fennec. Thank you so much. But again, hope you're all having a great day. Hope you all had a great Pokemon day yesterday, February 27th. It just happened to land on a Friday. And that was why we did a Pokemon video yesterday, because it lined up so well. Because Pokemon Day is always on the 27th, right? And it's like not always a Friday. But I looked at the calendar, I'm like, okay, if it's a Friday, I'm definitely making a Pokemon video to release on that Friday. And the stars aligned. Andrew the potion seller, what did I sell? What did I sell? Again, I've talked before about how it's just like the shopping network. I can just hold things here and, you know, sell them to you all. But we're gonna be looking at a lot of interesting things today. We're gonna look at the four main, what's the one? The four main areas of Pokemon. I had a word for it before stream and I've lost it now. And I have no idea what I was gonna say. It was a lot better than whatever it was I just said. But we're gonna be looking at the games, of course. We're going to be looking at the anime. We're going to be looking at the trading cards, not so much the trading cards. And we're going to be looking at the toys. So we're going to cover all four of the realms of Pokemon in today's discussion. And of course, the main focus will kind of be the games. You might have guessed. And we're going to be unboxing my oldest Pokemon games. We're going to go back to Pokemon Blue. And then we're going to, of course, unbox the recent releases, Fire Red and Leaf Green, and see what you would have gotten in the boxes for those back then. So hopefully that's a lot of fun. Of course, you're also welcome to scream out anytime during the stream if there's like something you want to look at, something you think I'm missing, something you think would just be cool to do. This is just kind of meant to be like a fun thing. And like I come with like, you know, stuff to show you all, but it doesn't have to be super strict. It doesn't have to be like super thing. I'm gonna make sure I'm doing one thing here before I forget like I did last time. It is good. We are good. Hopefully you'll all like the edited version that went up of the very first episode on Wednesday. Keep an eye out on future Wednesdays when you'll probably be seeing future edited versions of that. Thoughts on wind and waves. So yeah, pretty interesting, huh? Again, it's hard to tell from a trailer exactly how it's going to be. The concept has potential. It most certainly has potential. I think it's cool that they're giving it some extra time in the oven. Speaking of baking, you know, so that maybe, you know, 2027, hopefully they can get all the jank worked out. Might be the first Pokemon game to ever release glitch-free. We'll see. Verdict's out on that one. You want to be the very best, like no one ever was, right? So that's what I said. We're going to be talking about the anime. Oh my gosh. This was my best friend back in the day, or rather I would take it everywhere, including to my best friend's house. It's very ratty, very like you can tell it's been through the ringer. This is my childhood copy of I Choose You Pikachu, and it probably has been watched a million times. The first 3 VHSs, in fact. Is this where we're jumping into right away? Well, I'm probably not gonna jump into this like immediately, even like the side is like ripping apart. But when the anime, you know, Pokemon arrived in the West, and it was like, again, like that four-pronged attack. Maybe there was even more prongs I'm forgetting about. But you got the games, you got the anime, you got the toys, you got the cards. Like, your life was taken over by Pokemon in the late 90s there, and there was like nothing you could do about it. The movies? Let's see, Pokemon 2000 promo card Ancient Mew. So yeah, we're not going to be looking too much at cards today. That's the one sort of area I consciously made the decision to like not bring as much in today. I have made a video in the past when we looked through my Pokemon card binder, because I did, as a kid, collect the base, jungle, and fossil sets. They were so much fun to do. And then they did this thing where they re-released cards in what was called, I think, base set 2. And that killed all momentum that I had going into Pokemon card collecting. Because it's like, I already own these cards. I don't want to have to collect them again. And Japan did not get the base set 2. The whole reason we got base set 2 was because like Wizards of the Coast wanted to add a secret rare to the Rocket set, which was supposed to come next. And because of them like adding that one new card that was never released in Japan to the Rocket set, it took like 6 extra months to get the set made and approved and all that. So they fed us base set 2 in the meantime. And I was not a fan of that. I was not a big fan of that. But yeah, the cards are really cool. Again, the cards are really cool. In fact, like I said, we're not going to be looking so much at the cards today. The representation I got for the cards is just like, look at this big novelty-sized box that you would have got Pokemon trading cards in back in the day. And also, here's like a starter deck from the base set back in the day. I love playing Pokemon cards. Like, the old Pokemon cards are awesome. The card game's changed a lot. Like, it's kind of the same, but it's also kind of different compared to what it was. The power creep has been ridiculous. Now it's like, you know, you put down like your base Pokemon, they got like 90 HP. It's just absolutely nuts. You know, there was like the odd Pokemon like that back then, I guess, like a legendary bird or something, but not like freaking like a starter Pokemon. So I'm not a big fan of the power creep and how the game's kind of gone, but you can always experience the good old days with the Game Boy Color trading card game 1 and 2, but of course the Japanese exclusive number 2 is one of my favorite games. Definitely check it out. It has a translation patch these days, and I cannot recommend it to you all enough. Diego, we're doing a live action stream. Indeed we are, every Saturday from 8 to 10, and it just happens that today we're talking about Pokemon. I'm going to be trying to sell you my Pokemon wares on the Home Shopping Network today. No, not quite, but I like how, again, didn't the editor do a great job on the Wednesday video? I even mentioned in that one, you know, selling you all the Virtual Boy, and he even put in like a clip of Pokemon Channel there where I was joking about it. Pokemon Channel gets dunked on a lot, but it's a Pokemon game I grew up with. My sister and I played it. We did not set the clock ahead on the GameCube to cheat. Don't do that. Experience it legitimately, or you have no right to go bashing it. Because no, it's just a fun thing to, like, you know, every day or so, like check up on, see what's going on, say hi to Pikachu, and just, you know, take it easy. Just like enjoy, watch some Pokemon with Pikachu, and go explore it a little bit. Collect some cards and other stuff. Play the Pokemon Mini. Such a cool game. Pokemon Channel, I think, is very underappreciated. It looks like a game store now. Again, I appreciate it. Again, you can't have the game store cabinets and I guess not get like a store vibe going on. But yeah, I hope everyone likes the background. I really like how it turned out. I think that the cabinets are looking pretty snazzy. Yeah, again, appreciate you all hanging out. You'll take 2, Fennec? Sold. What else have we got going on here? But you love my, oh, Durfee, you love my content. Thank you so much. Hope you're having a great night. Watch the Detective Pikachu movie chant. So Detective Pikachu is a weird one, right? Like, Detective Pikachu, the game, was broken into 2 parts, but then you have the movie, but then part 2 of the game didn't come out till after the movie, but doesn't the movie like spoil what happens in the games? I have to admit, I have not checked out much Detective Pikachu. So I could be completely wrong about that, but from my inside sources, that is what I've heard in that regard. So I don't know. I have no idea whatsoever about that. But this to me was my Pokemon media. So the first 3 VHSs kind of came out together in the beginning. At least that's how I remember it. So I own these 3 in the start, and I watched them over and over and over. Probably like my 9 most watched episodes of anything ever. Just so much Pokemon episode 1 through 9. I absolutely love them. And then they show a preview for like the 4th VHS coming out on there. Like, I remember, you know, being so hyped for that. Pokemon in its early days was like no other beast It was so, so cool. The movie barely has anything to do with the games, and Ryan Reynolds is in there. Oh, cool, Diego, cool. The movie's good? Oh, that's awesome then. Okay, I should probably check it out at some point then. But so we got the English VHSs, but I bet you are not prepared. Nothing can prepare you for the French VHSs. The same episodes, but in French form. Let's get up to the close-up cam and let's have a look at the French VHS and see if you can find out the difference and what's horribly, horribly wrong with one of them. We're gonna play Spot the Thing, everyone's favorite comfy classic chat game, Spot the Thing. So, I can kind of see in the corner there. Again, let me know if there's ever any issues seeing or hearing anything. Hopefully the quality's pretty good today. That's the proper order there. There was a little bit of an issue with the video quality last time, but I think we've got it sorted out. Thanks to everyone who pointed that out, because I had to make some video quality changes in the last part because I was filming the CRT television, but because of that, something else got thrown a little out of whack. But hopefully every camera is looking great today. No lag, none of that stuff. Yeah, I appreciate you all joining. Hello, the Supreme Cat. Yeah, Animaniacs for Genesis today, nice. Very, very cool. So many rockets blasting off. So there's no Team Rocket in episode 1, and then that's like every episode since. They've blasted off for sure. So okay. So here's episode 1, or rather VHS 1 of the French version. Can we all see that? So it copies the appearance pretty well. It's like Misty Ash Pikachu, Misty Ash Pikachu, but they look so much more like not shaded properly in the French one. It's strange. I should probably move back a bit so you can see that. And then here's the second one, and here's the third one. And these are just things I found at Goodwill over the years so that they're like kind of funny. But I want you to be able to, so tell me, what is horribly wrong with one of them? One of them has like an inexcusable error on the front. And I want to see if you guys notice it. You like the background on it? Yeah, they're definitely different. So like that's a cool, like, you know, water and the trees there. That's a lot more basic for sure. This one has like nothing to do with it. It's called like The Duel at Pewter City, where they call this one The Mystery of Mount Moon, which is kind of funny. And then the Sisters of Cerulean City becomes the Nymphs de Cerulean. I guess, does that mean sisters, or might mean like pretty girls or something like that? But there's something on one of these that's really, really funny. And I'm curious if anyone can see it. That cap. Oh yeah, the hat looks wrong. The hat does look wrong. Looks, I guess from the back? Yeah, the other boxes don't show it from the back. That is true. But there's something even worse. Even worse on one of them. You have the right one. You have the right VHS. There's something really, really wrong about it. And once you see it, you'll never unsee it. You will never unsee it. The middle one, Chance gets it! Chance wins! Ash's hand coming out of his chest, Fennec, yes. It's like... like, what is that? Why does he have a third arm jutting from his chest? Is this a thing in French I don't know about? It's like... I don't know how they... Like, again, so this one actually has kind of more natural shading. Pikachu's actually looking really weird on this one. Pikachu looks really strange on the third French VHS, but I don't get it. I don't get where the shading went. I don't get, like they're just so, like someone drew it on paper yesterday. But yeah, the arm coming out of the chest, that's the one that gets me. That's the one that gets me. So congratulations, you solved the mystery of Mount Moon, and you all can pat yourselves on the back. And that's really silly. I always think that's really silly. But good job. Hope you enjoyed looking at the Pokemon VHSs. And of course, it's not enough just to watch Pokemon on VHS. A big part of it was rushing home from school every day to watch it at 4 o'clock, because Pokemon, it was like bombarding your face with new content all the time. And it was like 5 days a week you were getting new stuff. Now there was times when they would like take a break until the new, until new episodes came out, but it was just like every day you were getting new Pokemon content, which was awesome. Matt, do you have a third arm? Okay. But yeah, so The other way you watch Pokemon is on the television. So this is an actual TV guide. Does anybody remember TV Guide back in the day from October 30th to March 5th, 1999? We get Pokemon on the front of the TV Guide. And there were 4 different versions. This one has Charmander on the front. Show you guys all this one up close too. Take a quick peek at what was going on in the world of TV in 1999. So again, it was 4 different versions. I think there's Bob Barker. I think if we flip open the front here, it should show some of the different ones. Okay, so there's the Pokemon coverage. Where does it show? So here you could get, you know, Togepi, you could get Psyduck, Pikachu, and Charmander. But yeah, back in the day, man, we had to buy TV Guide to tell us what was going to be on the shows. We got Ash Saturday. Apparently there was like a big marathon going on during Thanksgiving weekend, I think it was, for, you know, Ash getting to the Pokemon League, which is pretty cool. So like a whole section here that talks about different things. There was something I just saw that I wanted to show you though. They made a mistake. I hope somebody got fired for that blunder. 1 second. Okay, I guess we'll just go through page by page. It's not that page. It's not that page. It's not that page. So here's Monster Rally here. This is the section that talks about Pokemon and all the different stuff going on. Pokemon culture has its own rules and logic, and a dazzling... What the heck is that word? Menagerie of characters? Menagerie, I guess? Who uses that? I don't think I've ever seen that word before. It's virtually parent-proof. Of course, this makes it even more appealing to kids. I mean, everyone probably uses that word except for me. I've probably just been ignoring it online all these years. So here's a page where Meryl was not a thing yet. But it's going to appear in the first movie because there was like that part, I think like the Pikachu part before it, right? And it says you can cut this out to like assemble Meryl yourself, but it's already assembled. So you don't even have to, cut it out and unscramble it. So someone messed that up. And they're connected too. Yeah, the way that the fronts are connected there. Man, I remember some of these other shows, Angela Anaconda, Pokemon stuff. But yeah, that's us reading through TV Guide. Got Dragon Tales. That was a classic back in the day. But yeah, and you would just read through this and it would tell you what was on TV all the time. And there'd be like a lot of ads packed in there as well. But yeah, TV Guide. I'm very nostalgic for the old TV Guide, but people probably like, what? What's that all about? So there you go. I think we've covered our discussion of Pokemon in the visual sense on TV and on VHS. Any other good memories of watching Pokemon back in the day? Hello, Drugons! Hope you're having a great day. Thanks for stopping by. But did I say it right? Menagerie is a collection of animals. There's a famous Tennessee Williams play called The Glass Menagerie. It's the first I've heard of it, but thank you. Collection of animals. I guess I don't go around collecting too many animals. Pokemon was my first foray into catching them all. All the Pokemons. Yeah, you don't hear the gotta catch them all saying as much anymore. It was, of course, plastered everywhere back in the day. In particular, you would get it on, like, the toys, right? So these were some Pokemon toys from back in the day. There were, like, a million, billion different varieties of toys, but, gotta catch them all. And, it was true for the games and also true for your wallet. You gotta buy all the merchandise. So here's one that has Goldeen and Seeking inside. And then you get one that has Psyduck and Golduck inside. Because, of course, one of the coolest things about Pokemon toys was, like, the figures. Just getting, like, the actual figures. You could, line them up and play with them and do all sorts of funny things with them. And this is the kind of package they would have been in on the shelf back in the day. And there's all sorts of varieties. You got Pikachu and Raichu and Pidgeotto, Pidgey, Pidgeot, Rattata, Raticate, all the main guys. So, of course, those ones are in the package. Let's find some that aren't. in the package. So here we have Poliwhirl. Two versions of Poliwhirl. So you might notice Poliwhirl was all over the place back in the day when it came to Pokemon. Apparently one of the creators really liked Poliwhirl, and it was before, you know, I guess a more concrete mascot had been established. Of course, we know Pikachu's the big thing these days, but back in the day, Poliwhirl shows up quite a bit, hilariously. Hi, Neko. Hope you're having a great night. Thanks for stopping by. Appreciate you coming by the Comfy Classic chat where we're talking about Pokemon, but this is Poliwhirl in my hands here. The problem is, one is real and one is fake. Can you tell which Poliwhirl is real? I have a lot of questions for you guys tonight. You did really well figuring out the problem with the VHS cover there. Let's see if you can also decipher which Pokemon toys are the real ones and which ones are the fake ones. Now, to be fair, as a kid, we did not care all that much. We just wanted to play with Pokemon toys. So like one of these would have been at like the flea market, but like obviously one of them came in the proper package as well. Can you tell which one is the real Poliwhirl? Let's see what people's thoughts are on that. These merch are so cool. You probably would have loved Pokemon as a child if you had them, Diego. Yeah, like again, it was a machine back then. All the stuff available for your consuming pleasure, but we had fun. We had a lot of fun with the toys and the show and the games, of course. They both look good, says Fennec. Interesting, interesting. If you had to pick one. The problem is, you know, like the lighting and stuff too probably doesn't help. It's a frog with a swirl in its belly at the side and that grabs your attention. Yeah, Diego, for sure. Real is left. Hi, Walter. Hope you're having a great one. Real is left. Do we agree? Do we agree that the left one is the real one? Thoughts on that? Might not be such a bad guess. The answer, the real one. Oh, Drugons thinks right is real. Interesting, interesting. Again, the point is they are both fun to play with. As a kid, I was not so concerned if the words Nintendo were stamped on the back. But for the purposes of this quiz, the fact is, the real one is the one on the left. This one, not sure what that's all about on the back. I guess this color is also like a little lighter, while this one's more of that, you know, indigo you expect from Poliwhirl. And it does indeed say Nintendo there on the back. But yeah, those are Pokemon toys. Those are the things we'd play with back in the day. These are just like the random two I was able to find a funny comparison to in the Pokemon bin. So I thought I'd share them with you guys. But good guesses, everyone. Thank you so much for playing along. No problem, no problem. Maybe the right one is too blue, exactly. Yeah, he's a too blue, where again, this guy has more that indigo-ish color going on, I guess. But not a bad knockoff. No, the bootlegs were usually pretty okay. My sister had a Clefable that had like 2 faces printed on it, I guess, because the bootlegging process didn't go so well. So you've got your odd defects, but sometimes they didn't turn out too bad. So of course there's more to your Pokemon toys than just this. You could also get these guys here. Let me just, give me 1 second, please, to set this all up for you. Hope you're having fun looking at Pokemon. Like I said, we're getting to the games. That's why we're here, because we like the games, but we're just gonna have a bit of a conversation about some other things too. So just like you saw, you know, in the packages, one weird thing about the Pokemon toys, like these are like, you know, the really early Pokemon toys, it's almost rolling away, is that you can see the purple at the bottom. It doesn't come with a Pokeball. They came with Master Balls. And to me, as a kid, that was so strange, because like, you want the Pokeball. You want the red and white Pokeball, like is in the show. And it's not like in the games, you know, you could see the differences between what the balls looked like in Gen 1. There was no difference at all in appearance. I don't even think like a Master Ball really appears in the anime in the early days. So like this is the merchandise you get, and it's like, well, what's this? That's not what it looks like. I think I remember even having the conversation with a friend. It's like, what the heck does the M stand for? And they said it stood for monster. Monster Ball, which, I mean, that makes logical sense. But it just goes to show I was not the only one who did not understand why the Pokeball was purple. Super Tom Brother, you got 5 red and leaf green on Switch. You made a video about them on your channel. Hope you're having fun with them. yeah, again, like, hopefully everyone is having a good time with the Pokemans. That's why we're talking about it today, of course. But yeah, so this is the thing you got. And of course, like, it comes in 2 halves, maybe. Maybe it will never come apart nicely. There you go. But what do you do with the Pokeball, you may ask? So there were other sets of the toys that came with these things, and they look like little Game Boys. These have shown up in one of my videos before because I find these fascinating. And what happens is you push the screen in and it shoots the ball. So you could like put this guy down on the table here. Where can you see him? Like here? And then you shoot him with this. Oh no, he's dead. And then, I lost my second half here. You put him inside the ball. And there you go. You just cut yourself a Poliwhirl. And that is what we did as kids when we weren't playing the video games. Pokeball. Pokemon Mario Quest. M for Mario. I like that. I like that. So Game Boys remind you of the jukebox that Pokemon just announced. Oh my gosh. So that's weird, that thing. Yeah. It comes with like 40 million different cartridges. I guess like one for each song. Very, very strange. And then for these Game Boys, the front opens up as well because, as you'll see right here, they come with like little tokens as well. Like one that says Golduck, one that says Psyduck. So just pretend that this is Poliwhirl. It's actually Rapidash, but it says, pretend it says Poliwhirl. Then you can like put that in there, I guess. And officially, we have caught them all. And that was Pokemon toys back in the day. You would have loved that as a kid. Yeah, like again, just like, it was crazy. Being a fan of Pokemon in like 1999 is an experience, I think, unlike anything that's ever really been replicated since. It was just this, again, machine coming down on ya, but it was fun. It was so darn fun. That, we're still talking about it. Here we are, like, again, 25 years later. That's more than that. Yeah, Pokemon Power Bounce are still in the package. It's Blastoise. Nice Super Tom Brother. That's literally the Pokewalk 10 years before it existed, says Diego. Again, so this really neat thing. So hope you all enjoyed having a glimpse of that. So I think that covers just about the toy section that I was going to present to you today. Again, there's so many Pokemon toys. It goes so far beyond this. I have like a Pokemon like stapler. Or no, not stapler, it's like a pencil sharpener, like Bulbasaur shaped pencil sharpener. Pikachu, I have like, maybe he's like a stamp or something. Again, there was just Pokemon everything. You could buy Pokemon literally anything back in the day. And if you haven't seen my video on it, I did a video about getting Mew from Toys R Us in like 1999. And in that video, I also show some toys and different things. Just talking about like the Pokemon onslaught of the day. So please consider checking that video out if you haven't seen it. Did you get the Sea-Watch? The Sea-Watch. Ah, Fennec, I'm not sure. The Sea-Watch. Did you get the Sea-Watch? Sea-Watch. 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 What's the Sea-Watch? I don't know. It's not ringing a bell. I mean, it's another word that, you know, Andrew's learning all sorts of new vocabulary today. But again, I appreciate all you guys watching and helping out in that regard. And hopefully everything looks and sounds okay. But yeah, so again, so the toys, and you get the ball, and then like this would have come in like another pack, probably with like some Pikachus. There was one pack that came with like 3 different Pikachus. He was like in a different stance in each one. And I think that's probably where the Game Boy shooter comes from. But yeah, those are the toys, which were pretty rad back in the day. So what have we covered now? We've covered the toys, we covered the anime, we covered the cards, which again, we weren't going to talk too much about the cards, but already we're zooming through the topics of conversation. Should there be anything you want me to kind of like slow down and discuss a little further, or you want me to like get out and talk about, don't be afraid to point that out too. But I have a lot to talk about in regards to the games, so that should probably take a little bit of time. It was just a watch that told you the time and some sounds from the show. Oh, I haven't seen that one again, and amongst like all the Pokemon merchandise. No, I wasn't, I'm not familiar with that one, but it sounds cool. Sounds like something that had I had back in the day, probably would have been pretty neat. Of course, there's the Pokemon Stadium battle set, the Nintendo 64 bundle. I did a video once where we unboxed that because it's a very obscure bundle. Like the N64 itself isn't special at all. In Europe, it was. PAL region actually got like a cool, like, I think different looking N64 that went along with the battle set. But ours is just like the normal N64. It's supposed to come with like a Pikachu watch. Maybe this is what you're talking about, or maybe not. It comes with like a stopwatch or something, but it's not included. It seems to be very obscure. The other Pokemon N64 bundle, of course, that gets a lot more notoriety, is this guy here. Let me see if I can get this guy out for you, or maybe not. Ooh, this guy might not. The box is like a little bit too big to come out without removing a bunch of other stuff. Let's see what I can do. We'll see what I can do down here. I did not consider this before the stream, though. I might want to show this all to you guys. Something I gotta have to take a couple things out to get to it, I suppose. So the first thing I have to take out before I get to the Pokemon bundle is the Japanese Nintendo 64. Isn't that a funky looking kind of front there compared to what we got? Very like abstract. Of course, same as the Super Famicom and the original Famicom, it's not really a box. It's just a cardboard cover for the styrofoam that's underneath, which is kind of weird. But that's what your Japanese N64 looks like. Your friends at elementary school had the Tiger Electronic Pokedex. Oh my gosh, oh my gosh. I did prepare that for us, I did. I feel like I had a point to make. Well, I got this out because I was going to say something about it, and now I can't remember what I was going to say. But this was really cool back in the day. Oh, yes, this is going to tie into something I'm going to talk about later. So I've spoiled it now. Once we get to looking at Pokemon Blue, I was going to say something interesting about this. But yeah, this was a cool toy too. It was not like the biggest deal. If you had the game, you already had a Pokedex that was like 10 times better than this thing, but you just wanted this to be like, oh man, I'm a Pokemon trainer now. You can't deny it. I also like how on the back, I'll zoom in real quick to show this to you guys. On the back, you get 2 battery doors. One that's like the save data door, the save data battery, and one that's like just powering the Pokedex itself. So if you have to change the battery for like the power, well, at least you don't lose your save data, because you could like enter your own information and stuff, kind of. That's what all those letters and things were for, as well as like obviously like searching, up different Pokemon. But this was neat. Every single kid owned one of these back in the day, so it's not a surprise to hear that there's other people out there who had them as well. But yeah, we're working our way to the Pikachu N64, which is just kind of, the box is a little bit bigger than the other N64 boxes, which you'll see once I get them all out, which means I have to take a couple things out to get to it. This is the Episode 1 Racer N64 bundle, and the box is like really freaking cool, but unfortunately there's nothing different about the N64. It's literally just like the base N64 set, great console and all, but it came with a copy of Episode 1 Racer, like not even boxed. So, but I mean, hey, why not, right? Of course Tiger made the Pokedex. Of course Hack and Quack. You're good to see a Hack and Quack. Remember seeing Pokemon YouTubers take pictures with that Pokedex all the time? Oh, it's classic. Pokedex these days, I don't know, it's like alive and this one talked too, but like I don't even know what's going on with the modern day Pokedex. To me, this will always be the Pokedex. Always. You can't beat this design. Just so cool. Used to have that Pokedex reel, nice. So let's see, can I get the Pikachu N64 out now? Man, it might not happen, guys. It might not happen. Let me see. Oh, okay. Oh, I think I got it. I think I got it, ever so barely. And the piece de resistance is the Pikachu N64. There we go. That's what everyone was looking for. So you can see how it's a little bit bigger than like this one. Like it sticks up higher, which is why it was harder to get out. But otherwise, that's what everyone was waiting for. So let's put that there. Let's put that there. Probably not going to unbox it today. That might be a job for another day. But you can see all the different things that it comes with. It comes with Hey You Pikachu and the microphone and all that. The really nice Pikachu Pokemon styled console. And here's that watch thing. Like, I don't have this. It's not in the box. Bonus animated talking Pokemon watch. Is that what you were talking about, Fennec? Let's zoom in on that. Maybe people can shine some light on just what it is I'm missing inside my box here. How's that looking? Oh, still way too zoomed in. So like this down here. First there's like a glare right on it. I can kind of stand in front of it, maybe. But like bonus animated talking Pokemon watch. I have no idea what that is. Otherwise you can see the other things that kind of come with it and a really nice console design. Maybe, Fennec, maybe? I mean, I don't know, right? Diego, that's really kind of you. Thank you. I appreciate that. Here you are actually like allowed to see and enjoy, and there's not someone telling you every 10 seconds to like no photos or whatever. There was a card show near me, and seeing all people into Pokemon now just for profit instead is unreal, and that's sad. Pokemon is no longer what it used to be, and you don't expect it to change anytime soon. Now, Pokemon was amazing back in the day, but it's like anything, right? Even retro games, classic games. There's a lot of people into it just for the money, unfortunately, these days. But again, that's not what we're here for. We're here to just enjoy and appreciate the good old days. You had a watch where you could customize what starter you wanted to reel. Well, that's cool. Very, very cool. They did have a pocket watch one too. Nice. But yeah, that's the Pikachu Pokemon N64. And again, like there were, so this is like the N64 is also like a really weird shape because there's like a big honking extra part here to have this Pikachu on it. So it's a strange sized console where again, the battle set that they got in Power Region, I think it's the same color as this, but it might not have the big Pikachu on it. So it's still like a normal size going on. Pikachu N64 watch is up there with the square button Famicom for you. It's just like a thing that like I don't even understand what it is. Like, and then you try to look this up on eBay. Bonus animated talking Pokemon watch. Like, if you Google that, nothing comes up. Maybe some other person, maybe one of you will have better luck or something. Someone else will have better luck. But and all the times I've tried to kind of get more information on it, it's unfortunately never gone so well. But yeah, that's the Pikachu Pokemon N64. Hope you enjoyed seeing that. And what was on the back? Again, on the back, it's kind of more of the console. Talking a lot about Hey You Pikachu and stuff like that. What other items are up there with the watch and the square button for me, Hackin' Quackin'? In terms of things that I'd like really like, again, there's not too much on my list. There's probably some other things. If I think about them all, I'll let you know. And again, I'm not too picky. It's not like, oh my god, I can't live without it. But at the same time, it's like that is something I just think would be so cool. Is to have the square button Famicom there, and of course, like to finish off a box, that'd be a really neat thing to have. You posted someone showing it on Discord, Fennec. Thank you, thank you. Remember the golden Pokemon cards? Ah ha 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 ha. Very, very good, real. Back in the day, from like Burger King, right? Limited edition, golden. This is the only one I think I have. And like actually from back in the day. And if we open up this, how do we open up this? This thing always like came out of whack, but there it's like a golden Togepi. Let's get close up again. I mean, it is very neat. I'm not gonna lie. And this was out before like there was ever even actually a Pokemon trading card. But yeah, these are cool. There was like 6 different ones. And again, there's like these plastic things that are supposed to all hold it in place, but they always come out. And I have no idea how they go back in properly. So we'll just kind of pretend that we know how those are supposed to go and do a thing like that. But yeah, if we grab the box here, on the back it shows Charmander, Pikachu, Jigglypuff, Poliwhirl, Mewtwo. Togepi doesn't even have a number. That's really fascinating. This is like a point when Togepi was like in the show, but like they didn't even know what number Togepi was going to be yet. And of course that's the one I ended up with. I thought it would have been cool, you know, to get the other ones too, but unfortunately just this is all I got. But yeah, so that's the golden Pokemon card I believe you were talking about. If you were talking about anything else, then I have no idea. But no, I've always liked that. It's always been cool. But thanks for bringing that up. Very, very good. So what should I do? Should I try to put some of these things away? Will that be a gigantic mistake? Maybe. Maybe we'll just put them off to the side for now. And I'll do a proper job of that later. So we gotta clean off the table because we are about to get into looking at the Game Boy games and unbox some of those. Hi Christian! Hope you're having a great night. Thanks for stopping by. Togepi was one of several preview Pokemon that were seen before Gold and Silver hit the States. So absolutely, Super Tom Brother. We just saw in the TV guide we looked at how they made a big deal about Meryl before Meryl was really a thing, which is pretty cool. Because yeah, it was so neat how they kind of just like, you know, trickled in the new Pokemon into like the Kanto anime. That was pretty cool. Hi Azul! I hope you're doing well, Azul. Thank you so much for watching, stopping by. Christian is out. He's probably at Olive Garden again. He always goes to Olive Garden without me. But I hope you're enjoying it, Christian. Again, thank you. Thank you so much for watching. But yeah, so we looked at that. We've looked at that. But this is going to be relevant again in a few minutes, so I will not put this too far away, somewhere where I will lose track of it. Because yes, I think, you know, we've kind of delved into the realm of games here now. It's probably just about time to start actually talking about and unboxing them. I guess one thing I could do, I should probably put these away. And I should put the Pikachu one back on the desk so that anyone who may accidentally click on the video while they're attempting to click on a much better video will be wowed and amazed by the fact that the Pikachu N64 is just sitting like right there. Something like that. You have things to share in the Discord? Well, I hope everything is good, Christian. And if you're not in the Discord, please consider checking it out. We had a big conversation going on earlier about South Park in the Classic Games channel for some reason. Maybe we need like a media channel. I don't think we have just like a general talk about TV and movies channel. Of course, you know, it is mainly a gaming server, but we have channels for other things too. We only have a channel if you want to talk about Simpsons, SpongeBob, or like Futurama. For some reason, we have a channel that covers those three, but nothing else. So we'll see about that. Thank you, Christian. Thank you. Nice Azul. Hope your Super Castlevania 4 content goes well. Pokemon Pinball and Pokemon Snap coming in. Oh my gosh, yes. So Pokemon Pinball, Pokemon Snap. Pokemon Snap, we have kind of like a reference to it. And something we're gonna look at coming up here in a little bit. Yeah, Pokemon Stadium 2 and N64 transfer pack. Oh, isn't the transfer pack cool? Being able to put your old Pokemon games in there. Blue version isn't far enough in-game to make viable Pokemon to transfer in. So we finally got Gen 1 on the Nintendo Switch. It wasn't exactly how I predicted it would be, but it did end up on there eventually. So I was like half, a quarter correct? Something like that. Oh, that would be too stressful? You're about to make content. Oh, before returning to Castlevania 4. Well, hope you have fun making content. But yeah, again, so much Pokemon back then. Even Pokemon Snap was fun. Pokemon Pinball, like I said, the Pokemon trading card games on Game Boy were really, really fun. Even the spin-off games, you know, used to be so good. Used to really get a lot of enjoyment out of those. But yeah, let us. Gen 2 win, says Real. So apparently, you know, looking into the game now that's out on GBA, or not the, you know, the GBA games that are on Switch now, there's a good hint that like the Gen 3 games are also coming to Switch at some point. But what are they going to do about Gen 2, right? It's kind of in a weird spot considering it seems like they've skipped right to Game Boy Advance now. So how do you go back to Game Boy for Gen 2? Maybe someday they'll put like, the Heart Gold and Soul Silver on there. I guess we'll have to see. But we'll take those wins either way, Fennec. Exactly. I mean, finally, any Pokemon at all is good. And like, it's really good that they're just doing sort of the classic games this year. Hopefully really polishing up Gen 10. And then next year, that will be really, really good. So give me 1 second here. We are about to move on to unboxing the classic games. And we've got some stuff to talk about in that regard and hope that you all enjoy. And yeah, just give me 1 second here, please. Yeah, there's some really nice, relaxing Pokemon music, isn't there? All right, so here are the games we're going to be looking at today. So we're going to go to my oldest and dearest Pokemon games, and then we're going to go to the remakes on the GBA. So here's Pokemon Blue. Hopefully you can all hear and see me still. The very first Pokemon game I ever got and played and absolutely loved. And of course there was Pokemon Yellow as well. I did not have Pokemon Red back in the day. Never had it in the box, but Blue. And then of course I had to get the special Yellow version later on for like that 5% different content, but it was still enjoyable nonetheless. And as I mentioned, I got Mew on both of them at Toys R Us, and then after losing the Blue save data, thankfully Yellow still hung in there. Pokemon trading card game on Game Boy Color, but your battery ran out. Oh no. Yeah, that's how that goes, Super Tom. But I hope you can get it fixed though. What team were people in with Pokemon Go, says Chance? I never played Pokemon Go, but to everyone who did, definitely feel free to share that. I know there was 3 teams. The most I ever played Pokemon Go was with Miles Luigi once. He let me try it. I remember going, whoa, and then that was my experience with Pokemon Go. But remember when it came out and people were like crowding the public spaces, and then all those people who were like, oh man, the kids need to get out more, they need more exercise. And then with like, a week of people just being out having fun with Pokemon Go, they were like, oh man, they're taking up the public spaces, I can't handle it. Some people are just never happy. But that's how it goes, I guess. But yeah, if anyone has been enjoying it still, that's good. Team Articuno, because blue's your favorite color, Super Tom Butler. Blue is also my favorite color. I love blue and green, are really great together. Had red and yellow, and your parents had blue. Real nice. Very, very nice. So let's unbox Pokemon Blue then. Have a look at where Pokemon began. See what came in the box when you bought this way back in 1998. Let me just do one thing here. So who's been playing? What was the first generation everybody played when it came to Pokemon? You've been playing since the beginning. Did you get in partway through? Are you excited for, the Gen 1 remakes being out now? All right, here we go. I should probably now move the Pikachu out of the way a little bit so I can see what's going on the screen there. Here you go. So Pokemon Blue version, good old Blastoise on the front. There's that gotta catch 'em all. You've finally been granted your Pokemon Trainer's license. Now it's time to head out and become the world's greatest Pokemon trainer. It's going to take all you've got to collect all 150 in this enormous world. Oh my gosh. So here it says, like, outright catch up to 139 different Pokemon in Blue version, and then use the link cable sold separately to trade with a friend who has the red version to capture all 150. Matt Rogers, you never played a Pokemon game. That's fair. That's fair. There's series I've never played. I've just finally got into Metal Gear Solid. It only took like 30 years. So that's totally fair. I recommend checking out some of the earlier ones though, if you ever have the chance. Gen 1 is where you started. Chance, nice. As far as Gen 1 goes, you own Japanese Blue, Japanese Green, and American Blue Super Tom Brother. Very cool. You love the chubby Pikachu. So Pikachu has really gone to, so like here, yeah, like he used to look so different, right? Pikachu's really gone through revisions over the years. But the classic Pikachu is very, very, very special to me. There he is again, but kind of more covered up by screenshots this time. Compare the back on this one. It still says the thing about you finally been granted your Pokemon license. The new Coliseum Cup. So it's like a multiplayer thing. Oh, so there you go. You can print out your stuff in Pokemon Yellow. But yeah, that's Pokemon Yellow. But let's unbox Pokemon Blue here. So this is still back, I believe, when the games came with cases, which is cool. Yes, I remember I got Pokemon Blue. It was pretty much like my first Game Boy game. Oh, we'll take that out. And you know, I didn't have any other games, but I would still take it out of my Game Boy Color every night and put it back into the case, just because I wanted to use the case, which is so neat. That's Pokemon Blue for you. Here is the manual. So this is why I had the Pokedex ready earlier. The manual is really interesting because it's styled after a notebook. The whole point of the manual is that this is Professor Oak's notes from when he was researching Pokemon back in the day. And then he develops the Pokedex, the electronic Pokedex, for you to go on your Pokemon journey with based on the notes that he leaves, you know, in his notebook, right? So I think that's so neat. And that's why there's also, like, it lists the different Pokemon in the back, but there's blank spaces. Like, these are the ones that Professor Oak never documented. But it's up to you to fulfill his wish. So I just think that's so neat. So neat that right off the bat, you know, you're being given like this Pokemon lore in your hands to enjoy. And it's a really nice instruction manual. Like, it's like 60 pages, all sorts of great information in there. I even just like flipping through this as a kid, I thought was so fun. Hi Lucky Bacon, hope you're having a great night. Thanks for stopping by. Can we get to see the Game Boy printer printing something on stream, hacking quacking? Maybe we'll do a Game Boy printer stream. That means I gotta load it up with like the printer paper and everything. That could be fun though. Game Boy printer stream, Game Boy camera stream. I definitely have ideas for some accessories and things like that for sure. But thanks for suggesting it, hacking quacking. But yeah, that's Pokemon Blue. And again, I love the manual. And it's like a big chunky one too. A lot of the manuals are like 3/4 the size of that. But this is a nice manual to look at. Of course, every game back then used to come with an advertisement for Nintendo Power. Let me just see here. Even Professor Oak demands that you subscribe and get all of the hints and tips to help you on your Pokemon journey. Help me to capture them all. Capture them all. That's not the saying supposed to go. And what else is in here? Anything else? Oh, we still got something. We got the Consumer Information and Precautions booklet. Very, very nice. Of course, Pokemon was what started all that, you know, need for precautions or whatever. Never seen the manual before. Very nice attention to detail, Hakupak. I'm glad you think so. Recently saw a video ranking the American anime themes for Pokemon Super Tom Brother. Oh man, yeah, it's hard to beat the first one, but there were a lot of good themes back in the day for sure. You could not go wrong with pretty much any Pokemon theme song. Remember the Orange Islands? Weren't even in the games, but still it was fun. And I was always kind of what I imagined the islands from Leaf Green and Fire Red were. It was like those islands that normally Ash went to after the main, you know, Kanto anime. Even though I don't think it's like actually them. But it was fun to dream. And that's Pokemon Blue. So that was what you got back in the day when you got Pokemon Blue. And then we jump into, not the modern day, but to what we are experiencing today. Here is Leaf Green. No blue version of the remake, unfortunately. So I actually ended up going with Fire Red when I got it, but we're going to unbox Leaf Green first. The Consumer Information booklet is what I see most in my Game Boy boxes, sadly. Not sure where all the manuals went to. Well, that's it. People would take the manuals out, read them, they'd get lost. No one needed to read the Consumer Information booklet. I don't know if anyone's ever actually read that thing, like front to back. And all the information that they need out of that thing. You once read the Pokemon Center section of Nintendo Power magazine. Yes, and Oak was brutal. He told a letter writer to bite his tongue when he asks how to throw away key items he didn't need anymore. No, the Pokemon Center portion of Nintendo Power was a lot of fun. And
Yeah, once they owned Pokemon entered the mix, it got a lot of coverage in Nintendo Power for sure. Hi Neko, you wonder if Pokemon Blue remake would have been called Bubble Blue. That could have been really good. That could have been really good, for sure. Yeah, it's too bad they stopped at, just the two of them, but that's still good. Let's unbox Leaf Green though, everyone. Let's have a look at the back. Set off on a grand adventure to fulfill your dreams of becoming a Pokemon master. Explore the Kanto region and discover Pokemon, wild Pokemon around every corner. Trade, battle, and chat wirelessly. So we got a big thing about the Gen 1 remakes was that wireless adapter that they were compatible with. So let's open them up and see what we've got going on inside the big old box here. So here's like all the paperwork still. All these years later, getting a nice, hefty bundle of paper in there. Here's your Pokemon Green cartridge, of course. Inside the good old cardboard. So I should take this all out. So can look at that, the cardboard that it's in. That will be relevant later, which is why I'm suggesting you do that. Here's the little manual. A little bit smaller in size compared to the other one, but still actually quite a few pages, which is pretty cool. Gives you all your information if you want to hook it up to your Game Boy player. How to do the different battle modes. Not styled, unfortunately, after Professor Oak's journal this time. Still giving you the information you need, though. This was treated a lot as like an introduction to Pokemon for a lot of people, where if you press like the L and R buttons in game, it even brings up like a help menu, right? I always thought that was kind of weird. I was like, oh, I didn't need that back when I played Pokemon Blue. Ah. But I mean, if it ever helped anyone, I guess that's a good thing. But yeah, that's the manual for you. That's a better name than Water Blue, Fennec? No, very good, very good. You heard Ocean Blue and Thunder Yellow as a kid. Rumors are funny, Super Tumblr. No, those work too. Those absolutely work too. So there's your manual. Still, all these years later, trying to get you to subscribe to Nintendo Power. If I show the code, does that like spoil everything? Can you go on there and like claim that now? Remember when you used to be able to enter your code on, this is My Nintendo. This isn't even Club Nintendo. My Nintendo came out before Club Nintendo. And like, there's like the forum and everything. I posted on the Nintendo Power forums a bit back then, which was all fun and games. Message boards used to be thebomb.com. Now look at that, you can get your game guides for Pokemon Fire Red and Leaf Green if you subscribe. And here is an advertisement for the new Game Boy Advance SP with a built-in lighted screen and the Game Boy player. Is this open or just like, oh, it does open too. Fortunately, we only got the black one. We did not get the various colors that other regions around the world got. But they are compatible. Like you can buy like the platinum one and it will work on your North American GameCube. You just have to have the disc that works with it, but that's pretty cool. Stealing the code now, says Fennec. So I heard a story once of a streamer who showed like a Nintendo eShop code on their stream and they didn't realize it. And then like an hour later when they went to enter it, it still worked. Like nobody stole it. That has to be like the most amazing thing that's ever happened. Can I trust my audience if I accidentally showed my $1,000 eShop code? Would you guys go and steal it? Or would you leave it for me? I trust you guys. I trust you guys. But enjoy Fennec. You can enjoy that one. Don't change the controls in the Switch version of Pokemon Fire Red and Leaf Green to L equals A. It will remap your D-pad to mimic the face buttons? What? Mr. Sardine, I had a relaxing fishing game on your old GBA. The only video game my dad ever played, he even bought it to work a few times. Nice! Thanks for watching, Mr. Sardine. Hope you're having a great night. Hope everyone's having an absolutely excellent time. Then the last thing in there, actually, nope, there's the health and safety book again. And then you get this guy. I should probably zoom out a bit for us to look at this guy. This is actually like a poster, but you're going to find some interesting things inside. It's also like never really been unfolded for more than like 5 seconds. So we're going to try and be very nice with it. You're going to laugh at some of the things that are advertised in here. Okay, so that's the French side. Here on the English side, we got Pokemon Coliseum. In an all-new 3D adventure, Pokemon come to life like never before. All double battles, all day long. Pokemon Ruby and Sapphire, Game Boy Advance Pokemon videos, Pokemon Box, everybody. Like, oh my gosh, I should have begged my parents to like do whatever it took to buy me a copy of Pokemon Box. Leaf Green, Pokemon Advance Challenge, trading card game, and there's even like an actual advertisement for like the Pokemon Center store down here. Like that, I should have told them like, we need to go there right now and buy 75 copies of Pokemon Box. So that's where the Nintendo World Store is in New York now. Of course, Pokemon Centers are still all over the place in Japan, but it's cool. It's really cool that it was actually called that in America one time as well. But oh man, the things we know now, right? If we could go back in time and do all that. You know, it's funny because Earthbound used to be like the gold standard for expensive old video games, but I don't think it's even close to being like the most up there thing anymore. There's a PlayStation 1 game I was looking at that I want to play. I own the second one on PS2, but I don't own the first one on PS1. And I was like, I wonder how much, like I knew it was pretty expensive, but I didn't know how expensive. And I was like, okay, let's just see how much it is. And I could not believe it. I could not believe how insane the price was for it. It's like, this is definitely one of those cases where the Japanese version is like 5% of what the English version is for some reason. So I'll probably just end up buying the Japanese version and playing that. But yeah, that's Leaf Green. I had an e-reader and all the American Super Mario Bros. 3 cards in high school. Unfortunately, they were in storage and oh no, Super Tom Brother. I'm so sorry. So that means that someone on Storage Wars got it. That's not good. You're not gonna do anything, Fennec? I don't think you can do anything with that code anymore. Like Nintendo's really getting rid of like all the programs. I mean, I guess there's still the platinum points. They're getting rid of the gold coins. Or so they say. It looks like they're still kind of hanging around. I haven't even thought about platinum coins in a long time though. I'm so over FOMO. I'm really not interested at all in like, oh my god, I gotta do this and do that and do my dailies to get that. Oh, I'm just taking it easy. Even like trophies and achievements. I'm playing a PS3 game right now, and I haven't even read through the trophies list. Sometimes the trophies will pop up and it's like, okay, that's fine. Sure, why not? And maybe I'll go check after to see, okay, what did I do to make that pop up? But I don't even go out of my way for things like that anymore. I just play the games, and I'm having more fun than ever. So that's been good. But okay, and then in addition to Leaf Green, we of course also have to have a look at Fire Red. But once again, I have a quiz for you all. What's the difference? What do you see that stands out as different between Leaf Green and Fire Red here? Something that's a little bit not the same. See if you can notice that. Fire Red includes something in the lower right corner, says Matt Rogers. Neko, Fire Red includes something you can't fully see. Darn glare. It's like the glare today has just been here. I can stand here and like kind of block the glare, or I can zoom in a little more maybe for all of you. But yes, Fire Red, this copy of Fire Red includes the wireless adapter. So let me show you. That was why I wanted you to have a good look at that cardboard inside of Leaf Green. And I just opened it there. Let's be very careful with our boxed Fire Red here. Fire Red includes the wireless adapter that you can plug into your Game Boy Advance for wireless functionality. Unfortunately, it does not work with like every game that had link cable compatibility. It had to be specifically made for the wireless adapter. So this is my childhood copy of Fire Red. It was a launch day copy of Fire Red. And speaking of which, speaking of it being launch day, I actually pre-ordered mine from Toys R Us. And as a result of that, pre-ordering it from Toys R Us, the pre-order bonus back then was this Pokemon shoulder bag. Pokemon Fire Red and Leaf Green shoulder bag. It's pretty cool. It flips open, and you can put all your stuff inside there. It's not like specifically for Game Boy or anything like that. It has spots for like pencils and different things, but yeah, that was the pre-order bonus for Fire Red and Leaf Green back in the day. And yeah, so the early ones included that wireless adapter, where then, as you can see, this Leaf Green must be from like a little later, and they weren't including it in all copies back then, which is kind of funny. The most expensive thing you've ever lost? What? Not oh no, Super Tom Brother. That's terrible. Like hopefully it's just like kind of buried in like the back of the sock drawer or something, and you find it. But that's unfortunate. I'm sorry to hear that. Poor Leaf Green though, not including the thing, right? Yeah, isn't that weird? But if you got the copy that didn't include the wireless adapter, you could always buy it separately. Here's what it looked like when you got it separately off the shelf. This was sold at Zeller's for $9.99, so $10. You're basically getting a $10 value getting that wireless adapter in there. Actually, I shouldn't have closed that back up. We can always take that back out again. Let me zoom in one more time for you guys. Hope you're all having fun though, looking at some old Pokemon stuff. So there's Leaf Green. Yeah, might as well bring this guy out. Why not? Get that wireless adapter out of there. I mean, you know what? Just for old time's sake, maybe we should check out what my old Fire Red save data looked like. So here's your wireless adapter. I have two Game Boy Advance SPs here. We're going to be using the gray one because it's the 101 version that has the much better screen you'll be able to see. But tell me that this Game Boy Advance SP does not look like it was made for Fire Red and Leaf Green. Like, it is just too perfectly colored for it not to have some connection to Fire Red and Leaf Green. But it doesn't. It's just like a green and orange version with no Pokemon relation whatsoever. But I've always looked at this and thought, there's no way it wasn't made with like Fire Red and Leaf Green in mind. And I think it's just so neat. It's such a neat one. But again, unfortunately, it doesn't have the super awesome backlit screen of the 101. So that's what we used here today to give my old copy of Fire Red a test. We even put our wireless adapter in. Not that I think we're going to use it, but just to demonstrate. Snap that in back there. Again, it's a really neat thing, but it came out like right at the end of the Game Boy Advance's life pretty much. You know, they tested out a lot of things that would then go on to be pretty standard inside the DS. Like, of course, the DSP has like the backlit screen that the DS has. The wireless, which of course would be native to the DS, which is kind of funny. But okay, let's put that in there then. Let's see what Andrew was up to in Pokemon back in the day. Maybe we'll mute the music for just a second while we do that. Neko, yeah! All I have to say about storage units in the mid-2000s is that they knew you had something... Oh, that's terrible, Super Tom Brother. Again, I'm so sorry about that. But here we go. We're going to be checking out Pokemon Fire Red. See what I was up to back in the year 2004. So one problem is that when Diamond came out, I went like super gung-ho with Diamond. And I transferred pretty much everything over there. So there might not be anything too great left. Andrew switched Pokemon. Oh! Previously on your quest 4, Firo used the hidden move Fly and flew to Vermilion City. Oh, there we go. Andrew managed to catch the Pokemon Larvitar in Vault Canyon. Very, very nice. Firo used hidden move Fly and flew to Seven Island. Moved Kadabra from the party to Fire. This is like such an interesting feature. Add a Larvitar and flying to the party. Pokemon were fully like, I don't have to go into that much detail. I healed my Pokemon. Wow, I didn't remember giving you this much of a preview. Andrew saved the game at this look. There you go. There's my old copy of Fire Red. Who's in the old party? Yeah, so these look like all guys I was probably like gearing up to ship off to Diamond, which was like my main game. Are these PCs you can use? No, they're not. So look at that, I got one win. One battle, one win. You know, when you're at 100% win record, that's when it's time to call it a day. Was this still changed, or did you change it? Oh, charged? Oh, Fennec. No, so this is my Game Boy Advance SP. I like play this when I go out still. I'm currently playing the Final Fantasy Adventure from time to time. And yeah, I do it all on this Game Boy Advance SP. This is my, like, again, take out and play Game Boy Advance SP. You can see it's not in the best shape. Not done by me. It was found that way, but it works amazing. It's the 101, so it has the really nice screen. You can even make it brighter, I think. There you go. But no, I love this Game Boy Advance SP. Let's go to the PC, see who I got in there. But yeah, that's Pokemon Fire Red, my childhood copy of it. So see, like, oh yeah, the firebox is looking like I feel bad about decimating my Fire Red copy to ship everybody off to Diamond. I don't even think Charizard's in here anymore. Very, very sad. And like, there's no way to get them back. But that'd be how it is back in the day, I guess. And that's Fire Red, everybody. You've been breeding for so long that your Caterpie wheel have evolved and you still haven't seen a single Pikachu. Interesting. Last time I played Pokemon Red on the original Game Boy, I found Pikachu like really quick. I was shocked. But he can be tough to find. I agree completely. So let's take that out, put that back into here. One thing that's inside the Fire Red here I noticed that wasn't in the other one is the massive French instruction manual, which is like 2 times the size as the other manuals. And what would normally happen is like you'd buy the game and like this would be like saran wrapped to the back sort of deal. Or like that. So then you could read it. But this one actually fits inside nicely, which is really, really nice. I mean, that's just a bit of looking at Pokemon Fire Red. Very, very fun games. And so like I don't you know, blame anyone who wants a chance to experience them again. And then the originals are just kind of so bonkers off the wall in terms of price now that I think it's good that there's a modern way for people to obtain them. And also, it's kind of nice because you can just buy it outright and you don't have to, you know, do the subscription service on Nintendo Switch Online. So that's really cool that, you know, people can kind of get it and, you know, own it on their Nintendo Switch until they do something and get banned and like they don't have access to anything that they've bought digitally. Fennec, in all of my years of playing Pokemon games, I've never once, ever, aside from Red Gyarados, because I've had someone call me out on that before, and like, yes, Red Gyarados, because that's like a guaranteed thing, but I have never otherwise ever found a shiny Pokemon. Like, ever, which is crazy. Now, the Game Awakens, did you consider the Analog Pocket when it was released? So I've heard good things about the Analog Pocket. I probably should. Is it still for sale? Because Analog had a problem of like, they don't sell things anymore. Or like, you know, over time, eventually they discontinue things. But the Analog Pocket is so popular. Hopefully they keep selling it for quite a while. And I say that because there was like the NES. Let me close that door down there. Doesn't get all dusty. You know, there's like the NES. It was like the NT Mini or something was Analog's version of the HD NES. Like that could have been really cool, but by the time I considered it, it was gone. So I ended up going with the AVS. The AVS has now been discontinued as of 2025, December 2025. No more AVSs are being made. And like, oh my gosh, well, it's good I got it when I did, but what if I didn't? So I went to eBay and I can't believe what they're selling for. So you got to get things like that when you can, I guess, but it's crazy. It's just absolutely crazy. That's a shame because like it's a really good option for HD NES play. Same with the analog one. The thing I liked about the analog one that probably would have swayed me to it is that it has a microphone port on the back, so you could use it with Famicom games, where the AVS doesn't have that. So even though it has Famicom compatibility, you're still out of luck when it comes to anything that requires the microphone. So the analog one could have been really good, but unfortunately, they don't make it. You managed to get one, but you had to get a used one off eBay because it's always sold out on Analog's website, Super Tumblr. That's about the Analog Pocket. And another really cool thing about the Analog Pocket is that it has an adapter. So you could, oh, we should put the music back on, so that you can play Game Gear on it. And I've always wanted a way to play Game Gear on the TV. So it's a purchase I'm contemplating for sure. I think the Analog Pocket would probably be really cool to get one someday. But in the meantime, in terms of just like playing my original Game Boy and Game Boy Advance games while I'm out and about, the SP that has the 101 screen, this looks super nice. So like I don't have any problem with this whatsoever. But for other reasons, the Analog Pocket would probably be pretty good. Again, just like you can hook it up to the TV, you can play Game Gear and all that on it, so that would probably be pretty neat. But okay, I think that's what I wanted to say in regards to those things. Next up, we're all forgetting about the third game that was part of this generation. We had Fire Red version, we had Leaf Green version, we also had Narinja version, don't forget everyone, the classic, the most desired of them all, with Celebi on the front. So let's get up and have a look at that one too. Who could forget good old Pokemon Narinja version? So a few years ago, I did a review of this and a few other Pokemon Game Boy Advance ROM hacks that were actually like, someone made boxes and cartridges of them, which is pretty cool. So if you want to see that video, please consider checking it out. I think it was really funny. And you can get a bit more information on this, but we're going to unbox this too, just for fun, because why not? But let's look at the back. So here we go. We can tell it's like the the Pokemon Advanced Challenge days at this point. You can have up to 6 different Pokemon with you at a time, and each one involved in the battle gains experience points. As a Pokemon levels up, they gain new abilities, generally get stronger, and sometimes evolve into stronger, more mature versions of themselves. Leveling your characters is a time-honored tradition of role-playing games, and in Pokemon Fire Red and Leaf Green, there are hundreds of different characters for you to potentially concentrate on building up. You heard it here first, everyone. That's what Pokemon Narinja version's all about. Let's give it a look here. So let me get the thing so I can open up the box ever so slightly easier. Sometimes boxes can be a little bit stubborn. Just kind of gotta work on it a little bit at a time. There we go. So inside the box, you get the game, Pokemon Narinja version. So this is definitely a case of like someone who did not have permission in any way, took somebody's ROM hack and put it onto a cart here. There used to be a flea market near me that just sold these for like $20 in the box. So I bought a couple because I thought they were kind of neat. But I definitely understand the struggle, someone who translated Starfy 1, and now you can find that online. Being sold on an actual cartridge, and no, I do not get any of the proceedings in that regard. I did also make a video about that one year, about how, translations are all play, no pay. Because you will never get anything from all those bootleg ones that sell. You missed those bootleg games like I saw Pokemon Diamond back when Gold Silver was coming out, right? Yes. Yeah, that was a common thing too. Like these are ROM hacks of Leaf Green and Fire Red. But another thing they would do is to take like completely other non-Pokemon related games, and they would just like change the graphics a little to make it look like a Pokemon game, and then put it on a fake cartridge. Oh, those were the days. But yeah, Pokemon Ninja version. Again, it even comes with like a fake little manual. That's pretty cool. Even like they put the warnings in there. We're getting super official here, everyone. Even the bootleggers don't want you to feel sick while you're playing. And it looks like just kind of a copy paste of what we had on the back of the box there. Isn't that like Diamond and Pearl? It's not even Gen 3 here. 1/3. And that's all. That's all you get for a manual, everyone. But that's the Ninja version. And again, please consider checking out that video I made. I'll share it in the Discord server after, where we actually play this. And there's some funny moments in there for sure. Super Tom Brother. So yeah, growing up, I had a friend who had a Pokemon, or rather a original Game Boy flash cart. And, or not flash cart, sorry, yeah, multi-cart. And it had the Pokemon games on it as well, but those multi-carts don't have batteries in them typically. So like, even though the game is there, and you can save in game all you want, there's no battery to back up anything. So unfortunately, those will never save, but they're still, multi-carts are neat. Maybe we'll check out a Game Boy multi-cart or two someday. That could be fun, because we have checked out a lot of NES multi-carts, but Game Boy not so much. And then there's not many multi-carts after that. Like there's not really SNES multi-carts you'll see. You won't really see like N64 multi-carts. But Game Boy definitely had them too. And DS and GBA also did. So maybe we'll definitely have to check out some of those someday. But real Gen 20, so Gen 20, maybe soon. If they hadn't have taken a year to release Gen 10, I may have said that before you know it, we'll be at Gen 20 if they're just releasing one like every other year. But the fact that now maybe they'll take their time a bit, iron out all the kind of stuff they need to do, and really kind of, put that polish on it. Hopefully Gen 10 is good. I wish no ill will against Pokemon. I don't think like, oh, I hope it fails or whatever. Definitely not. But being one of the biggest series, you want to see some good effort and some good polish put into the games. And was that true with the Switch ones? But hopefully they're going to do it this time. Hopefully. What else can we look at here? So another thing we can look at, now that we've got our stuff all wrapped up here. So here is a holder for the Game Boy boxes. So we can put our Pokemon Blue and our Pokemon Yellow. And it's only going to fit one more in this first section. What should we pick? Pokemon Leaf Green. And I'm not going to put Fire Red in there. I'm just going to kind of tip over. But like, look at that. I like that. Red, yellow, blue, and green all lined up there. So this is a stand. Official Game Boy stand that your boxes can line up in. I was not the original owner. The previous owner put all these stickers on the side that they would have printed from a Blockbuster kiosk back in the day, where you could take your Pokemon Snap cartridge and you could have stickers printed of the pictures that you took, which is pretty cool. And they put those all over there. I can even get like a nice close-up of that for you. Super Tom Brother used to have a multi-cart with just black and white Game Boy games that all didn't save. It even had Japanese Mickey Mouse version. Yeah, so multi-carts typically don't have backup capabilities. They're just like, they shove a bunch of ROMs on there and then like they call it a day. The new starters look so cute, Fanic. Yeah. I had to point out that like, we had a flying starter not too long ago, but it makes sense that there'd be another one for wind and waves. You kind of had to have a flying starter. All right, that's Pokemon Ninja version. All wrapped up there. Uh-oh, my totally precious bootleg copy of Pokemon Ninja version. Don't want to drop that. What was I going to do? Let's do a close-up cam one more time. And yeah, here's that thing I was just telling you about, how you can, you know, set the games in it. And on the side, you get someone's stickers that they printed out of Pokemon Snap pictures, which is pretty cool. Maybe I should be holding it like that. Got some surfing music going on, everybody. I'll never understand why in Gen 3, you surf so fast. And then in Gen 4, they like slowed it down so much. That's the one thing that kind of stunk about Gen 4, was they kind of messed with the surfing. But I think they fixed it in Platinum, right? So kind of weird in that regard. But that's Pokemon. Oh no! Oh my gosh! Oh my gosh! I was supposed to show those off before we got into any of this. So for all of you who stuck around, you're in for a treat now. You're in for an absolute treat. For something I was supposed to show a little bit ago. They're not my stickers, they're not mine. I have seen the Blockbuster kiosks. I unfortunately never used them back in the day myself. Here are a couple of carrying cases for your Game Boy Color. We got one with Pikachu on the front, says gotta catch 'em all. And we got one that says Pokemon with Ho-Oh and Lugia on it. And on the back it says gotta catch 'em all. But more than just that, inside, if we open it up, we get the Pokemon Game Boy. It's got yellow on the front there, blue on the back. We're going close up one more time. So now you can play your Pokemon games with style. I really like it. You got Pikachu there, Togepi and Jigglypuff. Remember how like Jigglypuff was popular? If you didn't watch the show and stuff back in the day, you probably don't understand just how popular Jigglypuff was. I really like this Game Boy Color for the fact that the D-pad and the buttons are different colors, where like typically they're always black. But on this Game Boy Color, you get blue, green, red, and the Pokeball up there, let's put a couple batteries into it. So unfortunately, the battery cover, I do not have the blue battery cover for it. This is like a special blue that's really, I don't think there were any other Game Boy Colors that really had this color. So if you don't have the exact battery cover for it, you know, the indigo doesn't fit, the turquoise doesn't fit, so you're kind of toast without that proper battery cover. But like, let's put this in here. Remember putting double A's into your Game Boy to play it back in the day? And then when you turn it on, the red light is where the Pokeball is there. Man, remember back before there were backlights? Gotta have the light just right to play your Game Boy game. Oh, those are the days, right? Or how about, you know, played it in the car and it starts to get dark out. You're waiting for those street lights to go by so you can get a little more game time in. Classic. Absolutely classic. Pokemon Jammies coming soon. Oh, like you thought there was going to be like a Pokemon sound when you turned it on. Oh, that would have been cool. That would have been really cool. No, I probably hyped it up way too much for what it ended up being. But yeah, I've always thought that Game Boy was really neat. But not only that, inside this case here, there was another Pokemon Game Boy. Actually, it's not in the top. It's not in the top that the Game Boy is kept. The Game Boy is kept in the back. And we can pull this one out. And this is the Gen 2 version of the Game Boy Color. This one actually has the back. It's very, very nice. And for this one, it's really cool as well, is if we put that here and that here, and we turn it on. Now the red light is like where Pikachu's cheek is. So I like their creative thinking of like what they should put where the power indicator is. But yeah, this is such a cool Game Boy Color. I like that I have, you know, carrying cases that go with each of them as well. But yeah, that's that. And that's how you truly experience your classic Pokemon games. Oh, Jammies, Fennec. Oh yeah. Oh my gosh, Pokemon pajamas. Did I have Pokemon pajamas back in the day? A lot of people did. Pokemon pajamas were definitely in style in the late 90s, I can tell you that. Do I have the Golden Star GBA with Johto starters on it? So, not Johto starter. Oh, GBA. There's a GBA with Johto? GBA Johto. I don't know anything about that one. That's news to me. Say you got a red Wiimote for $2. Seemed like a good deal. Yeah, the red Wiimote you don't see too often. Like, it came with the red Wii, but it was probably possible to buy it separately too. You never know. You never know. The blue one, there's like another one that, you know, the blue Wii is pretty obscure, but there might have been a way to buy the blue Wiimote separate. Who knows? But yeah, and then that's that. Don't forget to take your batteries out. Don't accidentally leave your batteries in, and then remember in like 20 years, and suddenly you've got battery acid all over the place. So unfortunately, when it comes to Gen 2, we all know that the batteries die, you know, pretty easily in those games. And that's because it has the clock that's always running, because the day-night cycle and all that. So that drains the battery super quick because it's the same battery that's also being used to back up your saved data. At least in, you know, the Gen 3 games. Even if the clock battery dies, your saved data is being backed up to the flash, I think. So it's safe, even without that constant battery backup, which is cool. Maybe you were just dreaming about Wilma Chikorita, Total Island City Colonic. You could be right. You could be totally right. I don't know everything about everything, so it's totally possible that there is another one out there. But yeah, that's those. So glad I did not end the stream. I forgot to show you guys those things, but let me have a look around the room. Is there anything else I'm forgetting to show you that has to do with Pokemon? Of course we looked previously, but we can do it again. Probably makes more sense to do it in this stream because it's Pokemon themed. You know, Pokemon, and we just looked at a couple of Pokemon consoles, but this is the Pokemon XD, Gale of Darkness, GameCube, which like doesn't really have too much unique about it except for the jewel at the top, which has the game feature there. I mean, it goes well. We talked about consoles and Pokemon, and it fits in there too. But there you go. That's very cool. So what else can we, and then there's like the eShop card with Eevee. Yeah, we looked at a few things before. We looked at when the Pokemon Center in Japan did the My 21 promotion where you went around the store and you solved puzzles so that you told you to fold the paper in certain ways, and then when you made the star, you got the My 21 kind of pin badge out of it. So Pokemon has had a lot of fun stuff over the years. And it's no surprise it's as popular as it is. I wonder what they thought when it came out. I wonder if their minds were blown by just how much it took off. Because you have this Game Boy game coming out in like, well, I mean, in Japan, it's so funny. It was like, you know, 2 years earlier in Japan than what we got. It's such a you know, non-existent concept anymore. Japan getting games like way before we do. Everything releases simultaneously now. But you know, for them, you know, they got, what were we talking about? Like in 1996, and we got it in 1998, and you just wonder. You wonder how people, you know, it might have surpassed people's expectations back then. Can you always tack on something to Wednesday video if you miss something, Fennec? Oh, that's true, that's true. Yeah, we could definitely do that. So hopefully this Wednesday, there'll be like another edited one, which will probably be last week's condensed version, so it'll always be kind of like a week behind-ish, but hopefully everyone enjoys them. Excuse me. Oh, must be almost time to end the stream. Losing the voice. But I think we've covered pretty much everything I wanted to look at today. There's a couple other things too. Like I wasn't, no, this isn't like specifically something I was going to show today, but it's off to the side, so might as well. You know, there were other like Pokemon portables as well. Like this is the Pokemon Pikachu 2. Where you carry them around. This isn't what you were talking about, right? Like the Pokemon watch. You know, he like counts your steps and he evolves. It's basically Tamagotchi, which were so popular at the time. Hi, Loot. Hope you're having a great day. Thanks for stopping by. You heard about that from a podcast. It was supposed to work with the NES Classic, but it didn't work with it, so they rebranded it for the Wii U. That's weird, Super Tom Brother. There's an NES Vantage for the Wii U. No, I'd never heard about that. That's cool. But yeah, there you go. So that's a bunch of Pokemon stuff. And that's only scratching the surface of like all the Pokemon things in existence. Pokemon, Pokemon everywhere. All the time. And yeah, even as someone who's not as into Pokemon in the modern days, you know, even just going back and playing the old games, you know, re-experiencing the old kind of just merchandise and fandom that surrounded that you know, existed around it is so much fun. And I hope that you enjoyed seeing all those things today. It's Pokemon time, Andrew. Yeah. Pokemon Marathon win reel. So on the channel, we've already played Pokemon Red. Using Pokemon Stadium 2, we played Pokemon Red, and we just like fast forward through it because you can unlock the ability to like play games at 3 times speed. So we just zoomed right through Pokemon Red in like 5 hours in one sitting, which was really, really cool. So if you haven't seen that stream, definitely go back and check that out. But yeah, that could be fun too. Maybe, you know, Gen 2 at some point. Of course, yesterday we had the Pokemon Red you know, glitching video and all the different weird ways in which Gen 1 Pokemon is broken. That video went up on the channel. And then next Friday, we're doing Game Shark with it as well, which should be really good. And there's a lot of weird things you can do with Game Shark cheats and stuff in your Gen 1 Pokemon games. So yeah, Pokemon, again, you know, they've always been kind of rough around the edges, but that's part of the fun, right? I mean, back in the days, it was part of the fun, but these days, a little more polish would be nice, I guess. But as games become bigger and bigger and more complex, it's even harder to kind of get the polish at times. But that might be where we're just about ready to wrap up, looking at a whole bunch of stuff. Any last thoughts about Pokemon? What was your favorite thing that we looked at today? Do you like the Game Boys? Do you like the games and the unboxings? I've had this Pokemon Pikachu N64 sitting here the first time, even though we didn't unbox it. Maybe we will someday though. It's kind of sitting here as like a teaser for later. But yeah, it's a really cool box set too. And of course there's also the battle set, which is a really neat one. Again, Pokemon, it's strange because it feels like it was around a lot longer than it really was as a kid. Like, it didn't come out until like right at the end of, you know, of the 90s. Well, I mean, again, it was like mid 90s for Japan, late 90s for us. But like the N64 was already out. You know, the Game Boy Color was already out. You know, it had like the Game Boy Black and White was like out for 10 years before the Color came out. And Pokemon just skipped over all of that. Enjoyed seeing the very good knockoff of Poliwhirl. Oh, I'm so glad you enjoyed those. Yeah, the toys were cool. The toys were fun. We've still got our completely legitimate Poliwhirl caught inside our Master Ball here. Professor Oak will not be impressed that we wasted our one and only Master Ball on a Poliwhirl, but I think it was worth it. And the bootleg guy still roams free. But that's how it goes, right? Pikachu, where are you? What is that based on the what's it called? The Scooby-Doo theme? Never been into the Pokemon games, but you do enjoy. Oh, thank you. Glad you enjoyed seeing the Pokemon stuff. Yeah, thank you, Lutz. Yeah, we unboxed a few things today. Again, we looked at lots of Pokemon things. Blue, yellow, leaf green, fire red. If you got the earlier version of Fire Red, you got the wireless adapter with it, or no wireless adapter if you kind of waited on that one. But you can always buy the wireless adapter for $10. What games was it compatible with other than Fire Red and Leaf Green? It's actually a good question. You know, friends and I, we probably tried it a couple of times. And like, it's really neat, but unfortunately, you know, not the most useful thing. But very, very good, everyone. We did the anime, we did the cards. We looked at a little bit of cards, not so much cards. Maybe another day we'll do cards. But, you know, the games, the toys. Favorite Pokemon? Motion says Psychic and wiggles when everyone passes by. Oh, I haven't seen that Carbon Spire. That's cool. But with that, well, now it's more like Beyblade. That might be where we wrap up today's Comfy Classic Chat. Hope you all enjoyed the Pokemon Day, Pokemon's 30th anniversary. Hope you're enjoying Fire Red and Leaf Green if you're playing those. And otherwise, we will see you again next Saturday with a little bit of something different. And also, don't forget Tuesday, we're back at B3313. What's my favorite Pokemon game? Is a really good question. Again, Blue was my first one ever, and I absolutely love it. And then I played Gold, which you can't go wrong with Gen 2 because you got like, you know, Conte in there and Johto. So Gold is so good. Gen 3 I love as well. I played Sapphire and really like Sapphire, but Diamond was so special. There was something about just, you know, it being on the DS, and I had so much fun playing it on the DS. I love the things on the bottom screen. I love the region. I love that I could put Pokemon from other games onto there, as you saw, sometimes to the detriment of my older Pokemon games. Trying my very best to complete that Pokedex. Diamond is probably, no, Blue is probably my most played Pokemon game, with like Diamond being right there with it. So those are probably tied, Diamond and Blue. Motion sensor toys remind you of Furby. Those are scary. I never owned a Furby. Never owned a Furby. I think I went to a friend's house once and like their sister had a Furby. It's the closest I've ever been to a Furby. But Chance, I'm so glad. So glad you enjoyed. Thank you. Thank you. So with that, hope you all have a great night. Take care. Have a great rest of your weekend. I guess last question, favorite Pokemon? Oh my gosh. Now, the problem is that it used to be, and I appreciate you, Fennec, asking the questions. I'm not in a rush to end or anything like that. I appreciate it. So Charizard's my favorite, but like, he's also apparently so overrated these days. Now it's kind of embarrassing to say that anymore, but like, you know, back when I first played the games, I took Charmander, and I've always taken the fire type since. And I really like Charizard. He's cool, right? But it's almost kind of weird to say you like him now, because I feel like there's like a cliche or something. Everyone likes Charizard. It's too predictable of a favorite Pokemon, so I don't know. I'm a favorite Pokemon outcast now. I don't know who else to pick. Live long and prosper, Loot. Yes. Pikachu real. Here, I'm just gonna name off all the ones that I have on the front of boxes here. Pikachu's great though. Why not? Gamer Awakens, so glad you enjoyed the stream. Thank you. What about everyone else? What's your favorite Pokemon? One last question. I'll judge you all. I'll judge all your choices on favorite Pokemon. If it's one that I don't even know, then I won't be able to judge it. But yeah, I mean, how many are they at these days? Like 1,200? It's crazy. It's crazy how many they add each generation. Absolutely insane. Shinx. Okay, I know Shinx. Shinx is cool. Shinx is very cool. I should have a Pokemon fan game. I do. It's called Pokemon Narinja version. No. Again, check out the video I made about these ones. Where, again, there's this one. There's like Chaos Black, Crystal for GBA. A few different silly Pokemon ROM hacks I checked out. And they have some funny moments in there. We've been listening to this Pokemon music the whole time. It's been very calming. Very relaxing. Hope that you've all enjoyed that. Finally found a Pikachu! Your Beedrill killed it? Why would you have your strongest Pokemon out when you finally found Pikachu? You know, it's really scary when you encounter a Pokemon that like you want to catch, but you're afraid of knocking it out. You just start throwing balls at it, even without weakening it, just in case, and I don't know. It's a scary moment for sure. Well, you finally found one though, Super Tom Brother. I'm sure you'll find another one and get that Pikachu soon. But everyone else, thank you so much for watching. Take care. Have a great rest of your weekend, and I'll see you on Tuesday. Bye for now.